Okay, so I am hearing these voices and these instruments, and I am definitely being pulled into this white circle, portal, door, whatever you want to call it. Um, and I felt the most. I mean, this was painful. Okay, and like I said, I was not even praying about this at the time. I felt myself um, being pulled out of my physical body from right here, the middle of my chest, and it felt like a ripping sensation. So, so like just being pulled out, and it was definitely uncomfortable to say the least. And of course, you could never really imagine it until it really happened to you. Um, and this was not like an what New Agers say is astral projection. I wasn't attempting to do this. It happened to me. So there's a difference there. I'll go into that later because I foresee this channel is probably going to be, get into a lot of the spiritual things. That's been my desire for a long time. And I've experienced a lot of those things. But so I go in to this portal, and at this point I am very, very enamored, very stunned, of course. And I had never left my body before, so did not, I did not understand what was going on. But I was on the first thing I saw when I came to this other environment, because I was pulled out of my body into this portal above me, pulled out, and then I'm in this other dimension, in this other environment, and I looked down, and at my feet, it was like a crystal clear platform. So say it was like, it's just an example, I don't really know how thick it was, I didn't measure it, but say you're standing on a foot thick of quartz crystal with no blemishes, so, or diamond. You're standing on a clear, natural feeling. It didn't feel like glass, substance that's hard, and it's thick. You're on this platform, and when I'm on this platform, I was very stunned. I'm kind of flailing around a little bit, in the sense of getting a feel for what it feels like to be in a spirit body, instead of the physical normal functions I'm used to, moving my arms. And I put my hand up in front of my face like this, and I could see through my hand, but I could see my hand. So I was in like a clear body, made of light. And so at this point I started getting my senses a little more. Once I saw my hand, I was like, okay, I still have a hand. And I'm looking around, and I see all of these angelic looking beings. These beings are pure light. They're wearing like kind of, warrior looking clothes, and they're like in between 7 and 14, 15 feet tall. They vary. Like there's some that are really tall, and then there's some that are less tall, and the ones that are less tall are more in like robes. And besides the angels, angelic beings, and by the way, their faces are like, more childlike, but still mature, and they shine. So they're innocent looking, but they're still mature. And by the angels are men as tall as I am, as in in between 5 and 6 foot men, and women, and everyone is just laughing. And they are, they have, some of them have goblets, looks like wine in it. I understood it at that moment like it was the wine of eternity, the wine of life. That's what popped into my knowing at that second when I saw that, because I was like, oh, there's wine here? What? And so I'm looking around and I'm very stunned. I mean, I was like, wow, this is a joyful gathering for sure. And they're enjoying each other's company. And so I I was lost in that for a second, and then I hear this voice. And at this point in my life, I had definitely heard God's voice before a few times. You know, when he spoke, it was always very stern, commanding, stern, but you hear a great deep care underneath it, but stern in a very fatherly, guiding way. And so I hear this deep voice, and it just boomed, and the whole place kind of shook. Okay, everybody's standing on this platform. And I look around, and I realize this platform is in the middle of the universe. Maybe not like in the middle where there's a bunch above it, but it's like over everything. So here's the platform, and then here's all of these orbs, as in galaxies and planets. Everything is just floating around it forever. And underneath, if you look down, there's galaxies underneath you. And there's some that are just right on the side of this platform, just hanging there, beautiful shining galaxies, like you're in the universe on this platform. And then this voice speaks, and everyone gets to, like, immediately everyone went silent. They weren't just laughing and enjoying each other's company anymore. And they split to the sides like a Catholic church or like a Baptist church, where there's an aisle down the middle. There was no chairs, but they kind of separated, got quiet, and looked forward, and I'm in the back. I realize I'm in the back at this point. And I'm looking down this aisle with them to the side, and they all, after being silent for a moment, started clapping. And when this voice spoke, and they said, "Just are your words forever, and wise are you forever. Praise be to your name. So it be done as you have said." Something along those lines. And then they just started clapping. So when God made a command, they said he was just. They said everything he says is wonderful. And they said, so it be done forever. And like everything he says is literally forever. And so at that point, I'm like, oh man, that one hit my heart, because I'm like, okay, this is quite, I was already pretty stunned, but this is now just the reverence came on, because I was, I'm definitely not a Catholic anymore, but I was raised in the Catholic Church, and one good thing they have is they have a little bit of reverence there. They teach that, at least, and I definitely was instilled with that. So as soon as I heard that voice and everyone gets quiet, I got a little emotional at that point. And so I start walking up this aisle, and then I look to the side of this platform, and this planet just kind of pulls up to the side of this platform. And then two angels with wings jump off this platform and go to this planet. As soon as God says a command, they literally just do what he says. This place appears kind of like maybe a hologram in Star Trek or Star Wars or some sci-fi movie. This planet appears, and they jump off the platform and fly to it. So they're just literally going anywhere in the universe where God told them to go. And I'm not even going to get into, people's thoughts of the universe or life out there or whatever, but all I know is they went where he said. And that wasn't just the earth, it was anywhere. They were just doing what he said. So I'm walking towards, I knew that was God, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get close to him. And that was a bold thing to say, but I've always kind of had that affinity within me. So I'm walking forward, and I get, a lot closer. And keep in mind, every time he speaks, the whole universe just shakes. It's really cool. Anyways, so I'm walking forward, and I get to the front, and there's these steps, and my head was down because, all I saw walking forward was just bright, bright light, blinding. Okay, I couldn't look, so I'm walking forward like this, with my head down, and I get up to the front, and I kind of look, and there's these steps, and then above these steps, I see the feet and the bottom of a throne. Okay, like white gold throne, and the feet. I mean, he was huge. Like, judging by the size, he wasn't standing, he was sitting. Judging by the size of his feet, he had to be like 70 or 80 foot tall compared to me. Okay, he was huge. But his feet, everything was made of light. He was made of pure light. It, pure light. It's almost like, say, you take a diamond and you put it in the sunlight, even brighter than the sunlight, a million LEDs or something. And you try to look at it, and every color is shooting out of that diamond into your eyes. I saw every color just coming out of this white light. Okay, extremely beautiful. And so at that point, I was trying to lift my head up and under the weight, because I mean, you're talking like pure energy, the force that made all things, that loves all things, that holds it all together. God. That's an intense moment, and so it's a lot of energy sitting there, and I'm trying to lift my head up because it's heavy at that point, and like water pouring on you, like you're just trying to lift your head up and there's water pouring on you. And so I get to about right here. That's as far as I could see. I didn't see his face, and they say that no man can see his face, at least in this life. And so I get to here, and at that point, I'm before, so, here's this throne, here's little me down here, and I'm looking right here at his chest. And at that point, when I get to here, and I'm just looking up like that, I wither away. Like I ground away. Like say you take. Sorry about that. Say you take a saw grinder and take it to a piece of wood, one of those stone grinders actually, and the wood just kind of whiffs away. That's what happened. It was like just disappearing into the dust. And I, at that point, appeared hovering above a large planet. And the planet's here. Say I'm in the air, okay? I'm just hovering there.